Welcome to a standard Q&A edition of the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle JCRB Krause.
Standard edition. Yes, just the normal one. Nothing special, but that's okay, because you guys are asking questions, and we have answers. You guys have many questions, so I guess we won't waste any time unless you want to get into something before we kick it off, Ian.
No, just let the folks know where these questions are coming from this time.
YouTube comments.
There we go.
Some of them are about 9-10 months old at this point.
Well, thank you for your patience, everyone.
Yes. Thank you. It's very much appreciated. But like I say, it's a good problem to have. Lots of questions. Here's this one from Vlad C to kick us off. SEGA says Sonic and Shadow are complete equals, and this is reinforced a few times across the series, as well as to you personally. What about Sonic and Jet? Is there any answer to who is the definitive Extreme Gear racer? Are they equals? Is Sonic better due to the ending of Free Riders? There's an ending to Free Riders? Who got that? Whoever got that far?
Yeah, I didn't. I know I didn't. I don't have an official word, but I'm assuming it's kind of the same thing, that Jet and Sonic are equals on the Extreme Gear, and that otherwise Jet is just unrivaled. Like, there's no one who can hold a candle to him. Off the board, I don't know how that fares. I don't know if Jet has any physical skills that can put him in the league of Sonic, but as far as Extreme Gear Racing goes, I feel like anytime he and Sonic go up against each other, it's a coin flip.
Well, the Babylon Rogues apparently have the Extreme Gear glued to their feet constantly, so they literally cannot even get off of it, even if they wanted to. So, also, you didn't get to the end of Free Riders, you fake Sonic fan.
I can't remember. I honestly can't remember when and why I stopped. If it was a matter of technical issues, I couldn't get it to do what it wanted me to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's not unlikely.
Or if I gave up because it was not fun. And I figured there'll be a YouTube video at some point.
That's also extremely likely. Well, there's going to be someone out there who's going to think you're a fake Sonic fan because you didn't finish Free Riders.
And they're right. I can't argue against that.
Whatever. If you finished Free Riders, I think it's time to go home. You've had enough. Here's a question from anti-nuclear activists. Do you think Heroes would be better if character switching worked more like Forces?
No. In Forces, it was kind of jarring to go from one playstyle to the next. At least with Heroes, it was not the most smooth experience, but you knew what you were going to get regardless of what team you were playing as. And if there was a particular play style that you were more comfortable with, you could usually stick to that until the puzzle was necessary. Until a puzzle or segment made it necessary to switch. So, no, I think Heroes worked well enough. It just needed some fine-tuning.
Right, yeah.
Not the way Forces did, no.
Here's a question from Geo Knuckles. Does Knuckles and Silver have a favorite anime?
I'm sure they do.
Does Knuckles watch TV? Is it just? Is it Emerald TV?
He watches whatever the Master Emerald shows him.
Usually, it's just his reflection.
Today's another episode of Refracted Light. Nice,
interesting.
Wait, I'm receiving a vision. It's another echidna. He's looking right at me. He's speaking the same words as my reflection. I'm looking at my reflection. Okay, I need to take a patrol.
Yes.
See, I haven't seen enough anime to really have a good jokey answer to any of this.
I haven't either. Couldn't tell you.
I'm sorry, I failed you. You were looking for something fun, I'm sure, and I'm like, there's anime out there, I don't know.
Maybe Knuckles just likes Fist of the North Star. There we go. That's an easy one.
Yeah, all right.
That's the obvious one, though. Or Dragon Ball Z, you know. That's too obvious, though. Oh, well. I can't think of a good, like, silver, like, something he would be into. Like, I don't know. I don't know any time travel anime, really. I don't know any anime much at all. Maybe. I don't know. Guys, headcanon down in the YouTube comments. Whatever you want. What do you think these two would watch? Here's a question from Ralph OTG. Since Vector is on a mission from God, according to the Chaotix manual, which Blues Brother would he be, and who would be his counterpart? Extra points for fleshing out the rest of the band.
This is going to be an embarrassing episode, because I've seen Blues Brothers once.
I've seen it a couple times, but I don't remember super any of the details.
I mean, Espio's got to be his counterpart.
Well, yeah,
I figure.
It makes sense.
But beyond that, I'm not familiar enough with it to make a good one-to-one comparison.
Yeah.
I mean, would it be a cop-out to bring in the old Sonic 1 beta band, Sharps and
I think
Mock? And
I think Vector's more likely to be the one who would play the Dan Aykroyd brother. I think he could. I think he would. Elwood, yeah. It'd probably be Elwood.
Well, obviously, he's the tall one.
Yes. But Elwood was the straight man, though. Yeah, well, I don't know. Seems more like his thing. I don't know, man. Oh, well. Here's a question from Bony Cheese. This question might be a bit too nerdy, but what period of time is the cutoff limit to what animals can be used in Sonic? For instance, in the past, we've been shown mammoths and thylacines, so I would assume any animal present today to the late Holocene is up for grabs. So would that mean animals like the Toxodon, Aurochs, or dire wolves could appear in IDW? On a side note, I would love to see a Megalania in the Sonic style. Or Megalania or something. I don't know how to pronounce that. I just figured it was Megalovania, but what do I know? I don't know, man.
I'm pretty sure it's preferred that we stick to contemporary species. Anything that might be considered extinct or ancient would need a story purpose.
Lame.
We also have to take into consideration that they prefer we stick to a certain body type and size range.
Lame.
Like they're outliers, sure, but they don't want us getting too far from like the Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, Espio, Shadow, Rouge type of stuff. Yeah, you got your Vectors and your Bigs, but those are the outliers. They kind of prefer we stick to basically what you can make in the Avatar Maker, more or less. So, but you know, it's a case-by-case basis, and I have been surprised with what we have been able to do with IDW in the past. So I don't know.
Yeah.
If there's a good reason to go super deep into ancient taxonomy, I mean, why not give it a shot?
Yes. Bring in dinosaurs. Do it. Sega. Do it. Here's one from Mirror Scaling Ninja. BumbleKast. Does Sonic physically age? Like, has he ever been a kid and stuff ever? It'd be nice to see like a little reference to Sonic being younger in IDW or something.
No. There is an answer to this, but I probably shouldn't get into it right now.
Well, you got to remember, in Sonic Generations, he was 15 going on 15. Apparently, classic Sonic and modern Sonic are both also 15.
Yeah.
Here's a question from Green Soda. Here's a question for you. What would Starline's opinion be on Heavy King exactly? Would you think of him as another one of Eggman's gone wrong creations, or think he has missed potential? If him and the King teamed up, what would it be like? Would they get along, or would Heavy King be too argent for Starline? Like how the King thinks of himself as peak regal efficiency. Would Heavy King be loyal to Starline, or just betray him like he always seems to do with Eggman?
Starline would, number one, not respect Heavy King as an individual, but definitely as a creation. And he would be very wary of him because of that whole betrayal thing, you know, again.
Betrayal.
So he would see him as a piece of faulty hardware that needed to be monitored and carefully utilized, whereas Heavy King would take a great deal of offense to that and wouldn't like Starlight on principle, so they would not get along at all. They might work together as long as Eggman's watching, but there would always be that moment of, wanting to send Starlight down a flight of stairs, or, oops, I plugged you into the wrong outlet and blew out every single one of your circuit boards.
Nice. Betrayal. Anyway, here's one from System 509. Who owns the legal rights to the IDW exclusive characters? Ian, IDW, SEGA? Who?
SEGA!
Yeah, it's true. I'm sure that has been 100% fully established this time. Like, no question. Zero question about it. And I don't blame him. Here's a question from Gareth S. In The Rise of the Wisp short, why is Sonic able to read Jade's story when in colors? Please pronounce the U. I did. I hope you're happy. Colors. Directly. Tails says that as the Wisp translations are in binary code only, he can read them. Also, I assume it was a budget issue as to why Eggman and Cubot never actually spoke.
He can read it in the short so that he can do the bit where he's goofing off with the voices. Don't worry too much about that continuity hiccup.
Alrighty then.
And yeah, it was a budget thing. It's a lot of money to bring talent into the booth to record, regardless of how much copy they're doing. It's more about bringing them in to begin with.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Here's a question from Michael B. Was Knuckles' infected form from Sonic the Hedgehog issue 29 meant to be a reference to Mechanical Knuckles from Sonic Advance?
it wasn't intended, but give me just a second here.
Okay. Did it end up, did the artist end up rendering it kind of that way?
Yeah, I'm wondering if he had the colorization. Give me a second to pull up some old files here.
Okay.
Scroll. And he is very silver looking, but we don't get to see his hand, I don't think. No, that's too bad. He does kind of turn silvery colored, and if the colorist had given him golden gloves when he was fully infected, I would say, yeah, okay, they did go there. But it's very hard to say, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
That was not the intention in the script, at least.
Yeah. Well, that's a shame. Here's a question from Adriana J.A. Hello, Ian. I would like to ask about issues 42 and 43. In 42, we see Tails getting ready to board the tornado. However, in 43, we see him flying the Tornado 2. So I'm wondering if this was an oversight, or did Tails decide to use the Tornado 2 last minute when he realized that Sonic is already making his way to Restoration HQ? Also, Kyle, what's your favorite IDW Sonic issue?
Adriana, let's go with your interpretation. That Tails decided to change planes at the last second, and we just didn't see it.
Okay.
Also, Kyle, what is your favorite IDW Sonic issue?
Well, that's easy. The 30th anniversary one. Does that count? Am I allowed to say that one? Even though it's a special and it's a one-off? Yeah, that's mine right there. It's a good one right there. I like that one. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Ha! Otherwise, Tingle and Whisper. All four of them. Well, 5 if you count 0. That's the Free Comic Book Day issue. Although that's just part of the first story, isn't it? Or is that actually a prequel? I'm trying to remember. Was it actually in? Maybe it was just. I'm thinking maybe it was only part of the original, part of issue 1 story as a preview, but I don't remember. Either way, yes. And we got one here from Satsune W. Vanilla is a civilian, a cinevanillian. But if you were to give her a special ability, and it had to be unique from Cream's, what might it be?
So you said unique.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the idea of her having something flight-like. Cream can fly, but I like the idea of Vanilla just soaring. Those big old ears just unfurling like wings. That she's got some kind of graceful tornado spinning Kirby-esque tornado power. But if it has to be unique from Cream, I don't know. Maybe since she's all motherly and protective, she can create shields. she can generate a shield around herself. Obviously, she can't. She didn't do that during the metal virus, but that might be kind of fun.
Yeah, maybe. I like it. And we got one last question before we take a break from Callum Q. What does it take to manage a podcast? I would like to hear your thoughts on editing, recording, where to post, and such. I'm thinking about starting a podcast of my own and would love to hear your advice.
My advice is get a Kyle.
But
that's what I did, and that's why I have a show.
But not Kyle. I'm sorry.
No, you can't have my Kyle. I need him.
I only have so much time. I am but one man. I mean, I have a lot more time than Ian does, but still, I mean, I'm busy working on BumbleKast and my own show, but
yeah, so get yourself a Kyle is my advice. Kyle, you probably have much better advice though.
Let's see. Don't worry too much about equipment. That's kind of something people get hung up on. They think they need like the best right out of the gate. You don't. A simple USB mic, as like even just a cheap Rock Band Guitar Hero mic is good enough to get started. Editing, I mean, I'm still using Audacity, which is free, open source. I've been using Audacity since the beginning to do editing for this show, so I would suggest to keep the dead air to a minimum whenever you're editing your podcast. So you can actually automate that with there's actually an effect within Audacity that lets you tweak the amount of silence left throughout the episode. So try playing with that and see what sounds good to you. That's one way I've always liked to edit, is like take out a lot of the dead air, maybe, put a little silence back in where the jokes are, but other than that, try to keep things going, keep it moving. As far as where to post, that's the thing, there's multiple venues, obviously. Sometimes there are some platforms out there that can help you and that can submit to multiple ones. The ones I'm thinking of, like Blueberry is one that can basically distribute your podcast to the various other services that can help you with that. I think there's like Anchor FM and stuff too. I'm not sure if those cost any money or not. Otherwise, you can just do it yourself, which is what I've done generally. You just go to Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, and Spotify, and all the various services, and you can just submit them yourself. But generally, the services that will help you distribute your podcast also provide hosting for your podcast files. So if you want to go that route, then you can get both, pay for the hosting, and then you also get the ability to submit your episodes wherever you want. I mean, if you want to do video stuff on YouTube, definitely don't break the bank on something like, just don't pay for Adobe. Please don't do that to yourself. It's not worth it at this point. There's free open source video editors like KDN Live that work really well. Personally, for this show, I use DaVinci Resolve, which is not open source, but it is free unless you need 4K, which for the BumbleKast, we definitely do not. No. We don't even do 60 FPS on this show because it's literally just a static image. There's no point. So, yeah, if you're just doing like a podcast only thing pretty much on YouTube, then you don't need anything too fancy. And DaVinci Resolve is actually the industry standard for like Hollywood video editing and stuff. So that is actually might be more useful than Adobe Premiere at this point, as far as learning it and being able to transfer those skills, as far as people getting more involved with it. Yeah, I mean, there's so many tools out there, and there's so many different ways to do this. There's not one set, hard, and fast way to do it. And, of course, I've been doing this for so long that things have changed so much. It's different. Things have definitely been different for a long time. So, but yeah, I think you should just explore, see what works for you. Look into hosting. Don't break the bank on hosting. Please don't do that. There's no reason to pay exorbitant fees for hosting MP3 files. There's no reason for that anymore. Maybe back in like 2004, 2005, when internet bandwidth was more, I guess, limited, or at least people's connections were more limited. But nowadays, yeah. So that would be my advice, at least, is to, put a professional show, put together something fairly professional. You don't have to be super duper squeaky clean professionalism. We don't do that here. But, put together something. I'd say that the main thing you really want to focus on would be, as much as you can, audio quality. Because that's going to be the first thing people really judge you on, is how does your audio sound? Like, you sound terrible? You sound like you're coming through a tin can? Is your microphone just hot garbage? That is not the best way to get started necessarily. So, yeah, you don't need anything super fancy either. You can work your way up, but you definitely do want to at least be able to kind of invest maybe a tiny bit in your initial equipment. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Are we ready to take a break, Ian? Is that where we are?
I do believe so.
All right, then. Well, let's take a quick break and then be back with more questions on the BumbleKast. All right, let's keep rocking and rolling.
Yep.
We have returned with this question from Cosmic Man Ita. I have a question. Can Archie Sonic time travel without a Chaos Emerald using only his speed?
I am sure there is something somewhere.
Depends on the writer.
Stuff. Yeah. That does some Silver Age nonsense where he probably could. But in general, no. Like, after a certain point in the series, I think they had mostly abandoned that kind of Speed Force can do anything type of thing.
But so he's the Flash.
No.
Oh, okay, fine. Then I guess he's not the Flash. That's fine too, I guess. Here's a question from Dragon's Den of Variety. Here's a question. Which of Sonic's friends do you see getting along the most with Sonia and Manic from Sonic Underground?
Amy, I can see getting along with them individually very easily, but having a hell of a time being the peacemaker between the two of them when they get in a tiff. Like, yeah, I see her totally grooving with Manic, in his carefree lifestyle. I can see her totally girl broing it up with Sonia. But when those two opposites meet, there is conflict, and I don't think Amy can shift gears fast enough to appease both.
Mm-hmm.
Modern Knuckles, I specify Modern Knuckles because I know Underground Knuckles and Sonia had a bit of a thing. But Modern Knuckles, I feel like, would not jive with either of them. He would just kind of be of the opinion of, oh, more Sonics. No.
There's already
Which, to be fair, is how Shadow would react as well.
There's too many. There should be limited to one or less.
Rouge, likewise, would get along with them both very well, mostly so that she can rob Sonia.
Oh, of course.
But she and Manic would be swapping stories on what their biggest mark was over the years. Who made off with the most loot and who did it the cleanest.
Nice.
Now I want to see that super bad. Just Manic and Rouge having a good old time talking about their previous scores. Dang.
Sweet. That would be fun.
Tails, I don't know. Like, part of it is I'm not super familiar with Sonia and Manic, so I don't feel like hyper confident. But would Sonia kind of treat Tails like a little kid regardless of his accomplishments? Or is she a little more down to earth than that? Is she a little more aware,
Good question. I don't know.
Would Manic kind of treat him too older brotherly? Like, ooh, I get to be the older brother this time. Let me show you the ways, little dude. And Tails is like, I have a larger vocabulary than you by miles. I understand way more than you do. Please don't do this. Or would they be jealous of Tails for having the fraternity role to Sonic that they've missed out on for so long? Kind of depends on the context, I guess.
Yeah, I think that could be interesting, though. There's definitely some avenues to explore there.
And Eggman gets along with them just fine because they all blow up the same. Launch all the missiles!
And then they all defeat him the same.
I hate those hedgehogs.
Exactly. How long has it been since he's actually said that?
Far too long.
It's been way too long. Yeah. Did Jim Botnick say that in the first movie, though? I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure he did.
I think there was something similar to that, at least. Like a very, very subtle callback. I mean, as subtle as you can get when you're talking about Eggman. But, you know.
Or Jim Carrey.
Or at least Jim Carrey in a comedic role. I don't know, man. It needs to happen again. I need that. Also need Robotnik back. That's one I need. I need those crappy names back. Crappy nicknames. Baldy McNosehair just does not have the same flair to it.
No. I'm pretty sure that one is being phased out.
Okay. And we got this one here from Caven Catastrophe. Do you have art of what Cream the Rabbit or Marine the Raccoon would look like older? I do believe in the future they will participate more in keeping the world safe, but since they're kids logic-wise, it would be best to keep them out of the action. Just curious to see your take on them.
Yeah, officially, no. There's no art that I'm aware of what would they be. I mean, it would be neat to do a time jump and see the next generation, all grown up and doing the hero thing, but there is no art in an official capacity of that.
Yeah. I don't know. Would be neat to see, though. But, sometimes time dump stories don't always work out the way we want them to. Here's what's from Keon. I have a question. If Shadow is the ultimate life form who can't be infected by any virus, which is why his DNA was planned to be used to cure Maria, how was he infected by the metal virus?
See, I'd have to go back and refresh my research on this, but the idea that Shadow can't be infected, I think might be Fanon. Like, Gerald was researching the ultimate life form as a means of finding some way to cure Maria. But I don't know if it's been definitively stated that Shadow himself is, like, a walking immunity. I could be wrong. And if I am, please, by all means, comment in the video below. Cite your sources. And, if it's just the wiki says this, well, what does the wiki cite? Like, is there an actual bit of Japanese manual that says this? Is it some minutia? Did Izuka-san say it during a Sum of Sonic? Where is this word of God coming from? And even in the case that he is naturally immune to normal diseases, this is the metal virus. This is not a biological disease. This is a mechanical disease. Mm-hmm. It's different. So there. That's right. I don't know, man.
Don't question me. Well, actually, do question.
That's the whole point.
Do
question me.
Do we need questions for the show? We need the questions. Here's one from Hyper Mataru. What do you guys think of Crucules, Knuckles' younger brother from a rare version of the Brazilian Sonic Triple Trouble manual? If he was canon, what would Crucules be doing in the IDW continuity? Guarding the Master Emerald while Knuckles is traveling the world?
I kind of imagine him like Turbo out of Dragon Ball Z, where the gag is... Okay, so let me back up a bit.
Okay.
There was a one-off special that is Japanese exclusive that introduced Vegeta's long-lost younger brother.
Okay.
Who, as far as I'm aware, has never been mentioned again and really doesn't fit the continuity, but whatever. It was an official thing, and, there you go. And the Team 4-Star guys made a joke about it where Vegeta's talking about one holiday season he took pot shots at his younger brother's space pod as it went off into space. And Trunk goes, "Wait, I have an uncle?" And Vegeta goes, "You had an uncle." And that's how I imagine Crucules is in this scenario. Knuckles had a brother, past tense.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, boy.
I mean, I don't know about the name, But it would be kind of fun if, after all this time, he had some long lost relative who's out there somewhere. And they're like, wait, Knuckles, I thought you were dead. And Knuckles is like, who are you? What is going on? And then, yes, let him guard the Master Emerald so Knuckles can get off that rock.
Yeah. Yeah. At least it's not kneecaps.
I liked kneecaps. I thought that was funny.
I mean,
the guy's name is Knuckles, come on.
It kind of is. But it's also still like, what?
It's silly, yeah, but you got a series with people named Sonic and Tails. Why? Because he's got tails. Why is he Knuckles? He's got spiked knuckles.
No, his name is Miles, thank you very much.
Yeah. Miles per hour. All right, it's a speed pun.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes that's just how it goes, man.
Need to introduce a rival named Kylo Meters.
Okay. I'm surprised you haven't taken anything out on me yet. Not that I'm aware of, anyway. I don't know. All right, here's one from SH. What's the name of the orangutan guy that works with Belle in issues 37 and 42?
Officially, he doesn't have one, as far as I know. My understanding is SEGA was wary of too many of the incidental characters getting names, because if they're going to be a named character, I believe they feel like they need to have oversight in their creation, such as Belle and Tangle and Whisper and all of them, just to kind of stop us from throwing a million OCs into the book, which I get. Mm-hmm. Like, even Lanolin, I apparently was very wrong in a previous episode. Lanolin did get SEGA approval.
Eventually, I think, but she wasn't initially. I think
not initially, no.
Yeah.
But because she was getting more attention, then she actually did go through the process, which I didn't know at the time. And so let that correction stand now. So if Orangutan Guy were to be more regular, maybe he'd go through that process. But for right now, he's just Orangutan Guy. For my money, I wanted to name him Grease. So he'd be a grease monkey. But we'll see if that ever comes to be. And I know orangutans aren't monkeys, they're apes, but just run with me here. Come on.
Yeah. Here's one from The Blue Wind. If Thunderbolt existed in the IDW dimension, would she look and act completely different, or would she be the same as she's always been?
I think she'd transplant pretty easily just as is.
I think most of the post-reboot characters would, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, post-reboot, we did aim to be more in line with the game aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
You could argue some more than others, but yeah, I think Thunderbolt would be able to just go over really easily. Shoot, you could even keep it in continuity, like a Genesis portal opens up and spits her out into Eggman's front lawn, and she's like, I'm in a different world, but it's still Eggman. All hail the Eggman Empire! And he's like, yeah, all right. Go shoot the hedgehog. Yes, sir! She'd be very easy to just bring over.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Now, I think we've talked about this before, but I am wondering how her and Starline would get along. Would she be the one whom he'd actually like?
Oh, no.
No? Okay.
Her loyalty is blind. They would get along initially, sure.
Okay.
With their adoration. But he would have... We've seen Starline's arc.
That's true.
And Thunderbolt would not have an arc. She is a flat line. She is diehard Eggman start to finish. So any doubt on his part diminishes him in her eyes. So she would try to fricassee that platypus.
Oh yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Eggman is gathering way too many obsessive fans. It's just like real life. Here's one from Typee Gaming TPG. Which Sonic characters do you think would have the hardest time going mute for a day, and why?
Sonic is the obvious answer.
Maybe.
But I think he would eventually catch on.
I think Sonic could do it, actually.
He'd need a prompt. Like, he'd catch himself once or twice. Tails would find it impossible. It would drive him nuts not to talk to somebody, not to explain something, not to elucidate in any way. Just,
Sonic would just need to channel his inner classic. Yep. Never say a word.
Amy would struggle a little bit, but she could get through it if it was a challenge.
Be like,
Knuckles would accept it as a challenge. Yeah, Knuckles would accept it as a challenge and just not.
Are you asking for a challenge? Oh.
Exactly. Shadow hardly says anything anymore anyway.
True.
Rouge would take it as an excuse to just go off somewhere and read a good book. Let these idiots have their little contest. Fine. She won't talk to anybody. She will, however, spy on them to point out who lost.
Oh, of
Never
course.
mind. That's how she keeps herself busy.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Charmy cannot. Charmy physically cannot.
It's impossible. Vector might have problems, too.
Vector and Espio would both have problems more than they expected.
Yeah.
And then they would actively try to beat the other one.
Oh, of
Make
course.
them lose. Because there's probably money involved. Or they assume there's money involved. At some point. Like, Charmy probably babbles something about there being money involved, whether it's real or not. And take that as meta-contextual a commentary as you want.
Uh-huh.
And so now, like, Espio's leaving Kunai on the floor for Vector to step on, and Vector stepping on his tail on accident.
Of course.
And Eggman cannot. He absolutely cannot.
Tangle cannot.
No, it causes her physical pain.
Yes. Whisper could easily.
Easy peasy.
Oh, yeah. She's done it before. Probably.
Rough and Tumble misunderstand and think it's a breath-holding competition, so they pass out eventually. And they win by default.
Well, yeah.
Mimic thinks you're all idiots, but now everyone's really quiet, which makes it harder to sneak up on them, so that's no fun.
And also probably makes him uncomfortable, like, what? This is weird.
Belle would have trouble.
Maybe.
She'd get through it, but she and Amy would both kind of struggle with it, I think.
Yeah. I can see that.
Clutch thinks the whole thing is stupid. He's not going to compete in that. He'll take bets from everyone else on the competition, but he's not going to participate.
Marine doesn't even understand the concept.
Her ears perk up and she just looks at the horizon. I am needed. Just wills a portal into being and steps through to Sonic's world. G'day, everyone. Why's everyone look so quiet? Shh.
And for Blaze, it would be super easy.
She wouldn't really get it, but okay, if that's the game, she'll play along.
Yep. I mean, she won't get why they're doing it, but she would do it easily. It wouldn't be the first time she's sat in solitude. Let's see. Who else? Starline would hate it. I didn't think he could do it at all.
No. He'd brag about how easily he could do it, and he'd fail within the first hour.
Well, of course.
Silver could do it, but he'd hate it too.
Yeah.
Just sitting there quietly amongst all his friends.
It would make him go crazy.
To say something. He's trying really hard to actually be telepathic so he can at least think words to people. Accidentally rips a tree out of the yard.
Poor Silver. I feel bad for him. I don't know, man.
Amy has to break the rules to explain to Cream that everyone is not in timeout. Everyone's not being punished. They didn't do a bad thing, and they're not mad at her. It's okay. It's just a game.
Yep.
The game is just not talk. And then she gets it, and they're able to go from there. That's the only reason why Amy loses.
Yeah. Well, then there's Jewel would be, like, grateful. Finally, some peace and quiet.
Until about 5 hours in, and there's just no noise, and she just shouts to the entire Mineral Museum, "Somebody say something!"
It's too quiet.
Marine kicks in the door. "G'day, say something!" Oh, thank God.
This is good. We need everybody to play the quiet game.
And yet again, we've written a Boom episode.
We have. Oh, well. It's just how it goes in here. Time to play the quiet game. All right. Here's a question from Kitten Solder. Is there any chance, if it turns out you really can't use the Freedom Fighters in IDW no matter what, that you can make an unofficial conclusion to their story outside of IDW like they did for Sonic the Comic? Maybe even with help from Evan and other people?
the thought has crossed my mind. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm not there yet. There is still hope, and there is one particular thread that I am clinging to super hard that I feel galvanized on.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like now more than ever I can die on this hill, but
You can maybe finagle something in there, at least a little bit. Come on.
I have this straw. I will cling to it as I drown. So I'm not willing to give up yet. If you see me take the plunge, then I will have reached a point where I have exhausted every possibility on my end, and the feeling I have gotten is that it is over, that the fight is done. Because I don't want there to be any confusion over the legitimacy or the officialness of such a project.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't want to steal any thunder from anything that actually did come about. So that's why I'm not even considering that avenue just yet, because the fight is still worth fighting. So it ain't going to happen anytime soon, that's for sure. But I don't want to say optimistic, because I'm never optimistic. I still feel like there's a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a fool's chance, but as long as there's one fool to pursue it, there's a chance.
Yes, of course. I'm ready. I want to see them. I think you can do it. I think they could fit easily put them in there. Come on, SEGA. Come on. Release the freedom fighters. Free the freedom. Here's a question from Nicholas N. Robot Master question. Was there one or more that you dreaded writing for? You did a great job coming up with the first personalities for these guys, but was there one where you were like, I don't know, he's shaped like a train, he's fast, I got nothing. He's shaped like a train?
It cracks me up because it sounds like how I would actually write that out.
People know you well, I guess.
No one immediately springs to mind, partially because I didn't go too deep on the whole roster immediately, because number one, that's huge.
Yeah.
And two, it needed to be more focused on what we had at the time. The bigger challenge was finding enough time to fully investigate all 8 each game.
Yeah.
And not have it drag the narrative's pacing down to a slog. And depending on who you ask, it was already kind of slow, and you're not wrong. But there's no Robot Master that I can immediately think of that was like, oh god, we're going to come up on him. It was more of, how do I do each of these justice? We would have had to think of something, because the format we were using up to that point was becoming untenuous. But I also wanted to be super faithful to the source material, so something would have to give somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how we would have tackled it.
Yeah. It's hard with that many characters. It's like,
yeah,
just to come up with something seems very difficult.
I feel like they all had some little goofy bit of minutia to them, some throwaway hobby. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, there's the kernel. I can build on that.
And you were able to pull from like other incarnations of the characters too, like a lot of the Mega Man 1 Robot Masters. You kind of characterize a little bit after the Ruby Spears stuff, and sort of were at least inspired by those. Not directly, but there was some of that, like, you know, like Iceman. I think was he the one who uses puns all the time?
Yeah, but that was official.
Was that official? Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess I
don't remember much of Ruby Spears at all.
Okay. For some reason, I thought,
any
Cutman
crossover was largely coincidental.
Cutman was the pun one. That's right. Yeah. My bad. Yeah. Okay. I thought there was something. Maybe Ruby Spears was also using the same things. Yeah. Like basing theirs on the same things. So.
And to be perfectly honest, it's been so long since I've done the research or did any of the writing that it's gotten kind of fuzzy for me. So you could be completely right, and I've forgotten.
I don't remember exactly, but I thought there was something there. Like you were pulling from a lot of stuff, though. So maybe it just got all cross-referenced with each other. Either way, yeah. At least you found. At least there's always something with these guys. A little bit. There's a little nugget you can extract and build off of. I think with most of the robot masters. So yeah, I get it. We got one here from the last guardian of the floating island. Here an idea. What if the Zetty were led by the other members of the Deadly Six other than Zavok?
Well, we know Zeke did lead for a time.
Mm-hmm. The whole thing would fall apart under Xena.
It would fall apart under everybody else. Like, Zaz is not a leader.
Yeah. No.
He can barely follow his own feet. Xena would be as domineering as Zavok, but I don't think she would be able to rein them in.
I don't think so, no.
Zamam's too stupid. He has no drive to lead. And Zor's not a leader. He doesn't even want to be there. He doesn't want to be. And be like, hell, whatever, do what you want. I'm just going to be over here enjoying how miserable I am. Over how much I enjoy being miserable. I'm deep and complex.
Big mood.
Now, Zavok's really the only choice.
Yeah, they were designed that way. They were specifically designed as a unit that way, I think. I don't think you could swap them around so easily.
I mean, it'd be kind of fun to have like a little short story, a little flashback thing where Zeke's like, I'm getting old. It's time to decide who's going to take over the pack. And Zavok's like, uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Just humor me. We have a ritual. We have a way of doing things. And then watching each of them fail miserably.
Of course. And our last question, at least for Ian, is from his house. Did you have to practice your Homestar character impressions, or is it just a natural God-given talent?
What are you talking about, man? Ollies Majesty just comes naturally. I think I did practice a little bit back in college, but I think I just have a similar vocal range, and that's about it.
I figured it was just a Southern thing, because, they're from Georgia, you're from North Carolina, It's a regional dialect thing,
I don't know how Southern Bubs sounds, but okay.
They don't sound Southern at all. That's the joke.
What are you trying to say in there? The king of town looks like Colonel Sanders?
Yes.
Homestar's the only one that I have consistent trouble on. It drives me nuts.
Which is interesting because you're really good at it.
I figure I'm in the ballpark of everyone else, so why is he the one that's so much harder to nail down? Marzipan excluded for obvious reasons.
Are you telling me you couldn't do that voice? Come on.
No.
Ever. Fine.
But we're going to wrap up the show with a question for you, Kyle.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
This one comes from Gab Sam. You get the gig. SEGA hires you to write a game. They want a first-person shooter with Big the Cat as the main protagonist. What is the story for the game?
Let's see. I mean, it's just Big in the role of Duke Nukem, isn't it? I'm gonna rip off your head and shit down your neck.
I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a Dookie Nukie of Big the Cat Dookie Nukie. That's what I need. That's what I need. We need Froggy. He's trying to find Froggy, of course. And then he eventually finds Froggy, and Froggy is not a frog. He's just a big green gun. Froggy!
The Fraggy 9000.
BFG.
Big Froggy gun.
Big Froggy gun. Yep. Rip and tear until it is done. I can't do the big voice right now. I don't know why. Rip and tear till it is done. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I would do. Make it really stupid. And then, yeah. Or maybe it could be that, maybe it's like the story of Doom 2. There we go. That's the story. It's Doom 2, basically, but with Big and Froggy instead of Doom Guy and Daisy. Because you know the story of Doom 2? It's basically...
No.
You don't? No? Okay. Well, the story is the demon aliens come to Earth, take it over, and the inciting incident is that they kill Doom Guy's rabbit Daisy, his pet rabbit.
Okay.
And that causes him to go off the deep end and murder them again. So, do the same thing with Big and Froggy. Froggy is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Froggy is dead. So he must kill all the black arms. Yep. They took away his pet. They took away Froggy from him. So he must get revenge. I think that's good enough.
I like it. I'd play it.
I'd play it too. I mean, I want more Big. Give me more Big in a game that's maybe not quite as janky as his one playable appearance.
Give Big like a long range fishing rod grapple where he just casts the line and he grabs whatever unit it is. And it's hard to get, but the further away you're able to hook them, you reel them in, and it goes into an auto animation where he just like rips them apart. You're talking about like Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. Yeah, same thing. All right, there you go.
You
can use the guns, which are easier to just point and click, or you can use the fishing line. A little harder to nail it, but it's an insta-kill otherwise.
Reel them in or reel himself at them.
There you go.
Amazing.
Wrecking Ball of Doom.
Yes. Man, that's some
200 kilograms of fury.
That's some really strong fishing line. I am ready for this. I am ready for an M-rated Sonic spinoff. Because that's inevitably what this would be. And it has to... You have to get back John St. John as Big for this game.
Oh, absolutely.
It would be required. You cannot do this without John St. John. Yeah. Unfortunately, Sega is no fun. They would never do this. But
well, that's why it falls to the fan community to see this realized. I know you guys can do it. Yeah. You've done amazing things.
It's true. That would be funny. All right, we're done.
We are not done just yet. First, we have to give a big thank you to all the patrons who make this show possible via patreon.com and ko-fi.com. Big thank you to, oh boy, Omega Watt, Pig Dan 20, Jinx, Phi, Knights Yubel, Choco Desert, Narave, Exodal, Jamal S, Neostrife, Shaggy Dog, Jack the Animator, Ty Cyan, Nondal, Rhythm Raccoon, Finest Cacophony, Arc Fighter, Michael P, Spiral Warrior, Alex GS, Goosey Tentai, Agent Kaz, Jolene B, The Marble Gardener, and Tails, Dreamboatin, Scurvy Pirate Hog, Joey the Sonic Fan, Derusiful, Lacey M, Unlikely Veronica, Axis, Ty H, KJB, Mox, Solaris Stain, Just a Mountain Soul, In Zephyr, Chaos Sonic 1, Maddie H, 4 Sonic Fan, Nimric, Cameron H, Ava Arctic, Radry, Callum Q, The Name is X, Keeper of Monsters, Kimiko, Alphamon Oryukin, Xanderoni the Painter, Kojiro Highwind, Ben W, Noah S, John the Real Waluigi, Fiona M, Lewis J, Chad, Les, Quaggle Gaggle, Ryan D, Chase L, Hero of Light 13, Red the Supernamic, Professor Rye, T Ranger, Dove, Jib, Pandolce, Daddler the Dalek, Awesome Cakester, Sapphire Scarletta, J Frost, Piggy Bank, Daniel B, Godzilla, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Noni, Off, Jonathan D, Jennifer H, Sony, Owen BD, Preston M, Salute Your Cat, Pedanti Cat, Blue Title Gamer, Koopaling Crew 128, Yami M, Andrew D, Final Neil, Tick Tick, Lisa M, Scruffy Matt, Lee HK, Don B, Chevelle, Chris A, Duiz Disden, John B, John M, Jennifer R, Mike B, Samuel P, Robotnik Holmes, Daniel H, Alex P, Dave M, James K, Sam Cybercat, and Joe M.
Ding! Look at that. So many names. I can't believe it.
Thank you guys so much. This is going to wrap up our edition of the Standard Q&A. Come back Friday, where we have a special guest episode lined up for you.
Yes, a returning guest will be returning, and it will be interesting. We'll see how it goes.
It'll be delightful.
Because we haven't recorded it yet. We don't know. But it probably will be delightful. It probably will.
Until then, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
Goodbye for now. Every time I giggle, I'm mocking the listeners. Not generally, no. Generally, I am not. I may be mocking certain former writers.
Why you gotta start trouble, Kyle?
Start it? No. Just continuing it.
Why do you have to continue the cycle of violence? You can't just let it be.
It's not violence.
Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Please don't kick the beehive. Let it be.
But it's funny. All right. The beehive has been left alone. It's been angry on its own, you know, buzzing angrily itself. The hornet's nest.
I don't. I actively avoid it. I ignore it as hard as possible.
I don't blame you. It's a good idea, but I'm not smart enough to do that. Oh well. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. I really do want
I do not understand. We have the ability to pass through time and space, and yet we are being defeated by the tensile strength of a fishing rod. Cry me a river, build a bridge, and get over it. What manner of beast is this? I'm gonna break your spine and eat you with a side of tartar sauce.
Incredible. I want this. I want this game. Please.
You go into your weapons menu and it's a tackle box.
Well, of course. What else would it be? Brilliant.
He grabs Black Doom by the horns, twists his neck a full 180 degrees around.
Feeling dizzy.
Yeah, man, this is great. I love recontextualizing Big the Cat into completely different genres.
Belly flopping on enemies and just reducing the giblets.
This is turning into a platinum fighter. I mean, why not both?
You fully upgrade that ranged attack he had from Heroes, where he's got that flaming mace ball at the end of his fishing rod.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Flaming giblets everywhere. As Big does the hula.
Of course he does the hula. It's his thing, man. Oh,
Minion,
man.
what is it that attacks us? What is it on the horizon?
Big trouble, sir.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling a little blue.
He's strangling some poor creature with a fishing wire. Looks like you're out of line.
Nice. I can imagine him just like absolutely slaughtering whole groups of freaking aliens. It's going kind of super duper happy.
That's because he's the real deal.
Yep. I have an idea. Group hug? Smashes. You guys together.
Everyone within arm's reach is now just compacted against him.
Yes. Yep.
Driving sequence where on your little tiny froggy-shaped moped. Control's the same too, but it's fine because everything you run into just gets splattered on the wall.
Oh yeah, of course. I want this.
Death metal remix of Living in Paradise.
I mean, there's a pretty dark remix of it out there, official one even. It's very different from the original.
Is that the one from the remix album?
Yeah,
there's some weird tracks on that.
That is a weird album. Yes, it's a bunch of industrial artists doing remixes of Sonic Adventure stuff. It's a very weird album. It's very weird to hear the lead singer of Living Colour singing Learn, Open Your Heart.
Yeah.
Like,
I actually like most of that album, but now I'm thinking of that. Yeah,
I do too. It's very weird. It's very weird,
man,
but
the
it's
beat
neat.
on that is weird.
It's
Yep. Hey, big guy. Hey, little guy. What is this fever dream I'm listening to?
Yeah, I like how they use the original vocals. The one I don't like is Tails' theme.
There's two versions.
Yeah, there are.
There's one that I like.
And they're both kind of not great, but there's one that's definitely not my thing.
There's one that I do really enjoy, and I think I would be the only one who does. I understand why no one else would like it. It's weird. They're both almost
weird.
shrill. It's intense.
Yeah.
But something about it I dig.
And that one's also one of the ones that's got the lead singer of Living Colour doing the vocals.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, both of those are, because I don't know, it's weird. Like, they use the original Ted Poley vocals for some of them, or for Lazy Days, and then they used the original vocals for the most part in Amy's theme remix, My Sweet Passion, but then they got different vocals for Open Your Heart and for Believe in Myself. It's very odd. Very odd indeed.
Very weird album.
It is. It's a good one though. It's very experimental, just weird.